They want you to believe he jumped. 22 floors, clean suicide, case closed, but here's what they're not telling you. 11 days before Nathi Mutetwa's body allegedly hit that Paris courtyard, he was named, publicly, by KwaZulu-Natal's top cop, accused of the worst political interference in South African policing history. 11 days. No CCTV footage from the hotel. An ambulance that arrived. Eventually. A body nobody's seen. Not one photo, not one confirmation, and a case closed faster than the French could say au revoir. Meanwhile, Thabo Bester fooled an entire nation from a burning prison cell. So I'm asking you the question the ANC hopes you won't ask. Did Nathi Mutetwa die in Paris? Or did he disappear? I'm not here to feed you the official story. I'm here to show you what they're hiding. And before we dive into Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's explosive testimony, the one that put Mutetwa in the crosshairs, I need you to do something. Hit that like button. Share this video. Because the truth in South Africa doesn't trend unless we make it trend. Dlamini, roll the footage.
Ndluli must be charged. She wants to withdraw that letter. So when I ask her, but why you want to withdraw the letter of a criminal case? You've read the case and you wrote to me and you say, Ndluli must go and face the music. Why do you want to withdraw it? And she said, no. It's my career now in line. So I need to withdraw that. I made a wrong decision. I should not have said Ndluli must be charged. Which means she touched the wrong people in the higher echelon of maybe within the police structures or in government that did not want Ndluli to be charged. And I refused to come back and withdraw the letter. And then I received a phone call from the Minister of Police, Nathi Mthethwa, commissioners. I went to his residence in Waterkloof. And when I arrived there, the Inspector General is sitting on one side of the table, Mr. Mthethwa is sitting on the other side of the table. The minister says to me that I forced the Inspector General of Intelligence to write the letter that says, Mkhwebi is wrong, this matter must go to court. She said, I forced her. Then I told her, I said, no, Minister, Advocate Khateb is an old woman. She's an advocate. How can I point a gun at her and force her to write a letter? Besides, when this letter was written in her office, and she actually is not the author of the letter. The author of the letter is Advocate Jay Govender, who is an experienced prosecutor person who's working in that office. She's the one that drafted the letter, not you, not the Inspector General of Intelligence. The minister didn't want to hear any of that. A simple say, must stop prosecuting Ndluli, or must stop disciplinary case against Ndluli. Now, if we talk about political interference, that was the worst I've ever experienced. At that time, Commissioner, I come from the specialized operation. The only thing I know is to chase criminals. And I'm promoted to become the acting National Commissioner, and I'm confronted with this in front of me. And I said, but this is not what I signed for when I joined the police. This can't be right. The minister can't give me these instructions. Then I said to the minister, maybe you brought me into this position and you thought you were going to use me as a pawn because perhaps of my age or whatever, but you are wrong. I'm not going to do that.
Let's expose what they tried to bury. Let that sink in. This is not some vague allegation of meddling. This is a direct, first-hand account of a cabinet minister summoning the country's top cop to his home to issue a direct illegal order, kill a criminal investigation. Not just any investigation. An investigation into Richard Midluli, the head of crime intelligence, a man who was not just a policeman, but the keeper of the ANC's darkest secrets. The man who allegedly ran the secret slush fund like his personal ATM, spying on political rivals and funding factional battles. Mutetwa was not just protecting a colleague, he was protecting the system. He was protecting the rot. And Mkhwanazi, a man who says the only thing he knows is how to chase criminals, looked him in the eye and refused. He called him out right then and there. That testimony on September 19th turned Nathi Mutetwa from a respected diplomat into a cornered criminal suspect. The commission immediately put him on the witness list. He had a date with destiny. He would have to sit in that same chair and, under oath, Either call a decorated police general a liar, a battle he could not win, or admit to defeating the ends of justice, a crime that carries a hefty prison sentence. He was trapped. His political career was over. His freedom was on the line. 11 days. That is the time between this testimony and Mutetwa's body being discovered in Paris. 11 days is not enough time to be consumed by despair, but it is just enough time to plan an escape. Now, with that motive burning in your mind, let's go to Paris. Let's look at the scene of the alleged crime through the lens of a man with everything to lose and a background in deception. Red flag number 1. The solo check-in at the Hyatt Regency. An ambassador, especially one who is now a central figure in a massive national scandal, does not simply wander into a hotel alone without a security detail. It is a massive breach of diplomatic protocol. This wasn't a man seeking solitude. This was an operative preparing the field, shedding his official shadow because his plan required no witnesses. Red flag number 2. The location of his last phone ping, Bois de Boulogne. As we said, this is a notorious hub for clandestine meetings. Mutetwa wasn't there to smell the roses. He went there to ditch his phone, creating a false trail for investigators to follow. A classic piece of counter-surveillance to buy him time, while he made his real move in the opposite direction. It's Tradecraft 101. Red flag number 3. The phantom worrying message to his wife. This is the cornerstone of the suicide narrative, yet no one has seen it. It's the perfect tool to kickstart the official timeline. She receives the text. She files a missing person report, and suddenly the script is in motion. A script written not in despair, but with cold, calculated precision. And that brings us back to the Hyatt Regency, the stage itself. The story of the scissors and the window is an insult to your intelligence.
Today, we delve into the forensic analysis of a modern high-rise hotel window, meticulously examining its robust design and inherent security features. This window, a critical component of the building's integrity, is engineered with precision to withstand significant external forces and prevent any unauthorized access. Its construction features advanced double-pane reinforced glass, designed not only for superior insulation, but also for exceptional impact resistance and structural strength. Integral to its security is a built-in safety limiter, a small, rectangular metal bracket securely fastened to the bottom right corner of the window frame. This limiter precisely restricts the window's opening to just a few inches, effectively preventing both accidental falls and any attempts at forced entry. Further enhancing security is the tamper-proof metal hinge, extending vertically along the entire left side of the window, a testament to its robust design. This robust hinge is meticulously engineered to be impenetrable, presenting no exposed vulnerabilities that could be exploited by simple tools. For a clear sense of scale, a pair of ordinary office scissors rests on the windowsill, starkly contrasting with the window's formidable construction. Now, let's conceptually demonstrate why simple tools like these common office scissors are utterly ineffective against such a reinforced structure. An animated attempt to pry the frame with the scissors shows immediate failure, as the thin blades bend or slip without making any discernible impact. The tamper-proof metal hinge and the limiter bracket are designed with specific engineering principles to resist leverage and brute force effectively. Their robust construction ensures that the window remains hermetically sealed, preventing it from opening beyond its stringent safety parameters. Transitioning to the exterior, we observe the hotel facade from the 22nd floor, emphasizing the window's seamless integration. From this elevated vantage point, it's unequivocally clear the window is sealed within a strong, integrated frame, forming an inseparable part of the building's structure. Dislodging it from the outside would necessitate significant force and specialized tools, far beyond what any simple implement could provide. This forensic examination profoundly underscores the advanced engineering and stringent security measures incorporated into modern high-rise hotel windows. They are meticulously designed to be impenetrable, ensuring paramount safety and security for occupants against all, but the most determined and exceptionally equipped attempts.
Force open a reinforced, tamper-proof hotel window would create a significant noise. Where are the hotel guests who heard this? There are none, because it never happened. Then the discovery, a lone security guard, at dawn, in a secluded inner courtyard, shielded from public view. Think about the logistics. A body falling 22 stories is a violent, messy event. Yet the scene is controlled, sanitized, almost immediately. No photos leak, no hotel guests post chaotic videos. And the ambulance, parked nearby, took up to 30 minutes to officially respond. 30 minutes. They weren't rushing to save a life. They were waiting for the all clear to come and manage a scene. This entire sequence doesn't scream emergency. It screams coordination. This was a planned operation, executed with a timetable, and every single piece of the official story, when held up against the powerful motive Mkhwanazi gave us, falls apart. And we haven't even gotten to the most critical piece of deception yet, the body, because that is where the Thabo Bester playbook was followed to the letter. Let's talk about the body, or rather, the lack of one. This is the absolute core of the deception, the masterstroke lifted directly from the Thabo Bester playbook. In a world saturated with smartphones, in a major international city, a high-profile diplomat allegedly falls 22 stories, and yet there is not a single, solitary image of the body. Not a grainy long-distance shot, not a leaked photo from a paramedic, not even a morbid glimpse from a hotel window. The scene was locked down with a speed and efficiency that the South African Police Service can only dream of. The official reason? Respect for the deceased and the family. What a convenient, noble-sounding lie. The real reason is that you cannot allow the public to see evidence that contradicts the official narrative. You cannot risk a citizen journalist with a good camera zooming in on a body that doesn't have the right physical build, or worse, shows signs of trauma inconsistent with a fall. Think about Thabo Bester. His escape in May 2022 was only possible because a body was found burned beyond recognition in his cell. The authorities, G4S, and the Department of Correctional Services were all too happy to sign a death certificate and close the file. It took an independent, dogged investigation to prove that the body in the cell was not Bester's, but that of Katlego Bereng, a young man who had been murdered and his body smuggled into the prison. The state had identified the wrong body, or had they? Was it a mistake, or was it a willful act of negligence? A box-ticking exercise by people who were paid to look the other way? Now apply that same logic to Paris. We are told a body was found. But who has seen it? Who has independently identified it as Nathi Mutetwa? His own family, from his brother Khulekani's own mouth, has stated they have not seen the body. The South African government has not sent its own forensic team to Paris to verify the identity and cause of death, something that would be standard procedure for a death of this significance. They are simply taking the word of the French authorities. Why? Now let's drill down deeper into the motive we touched on in part 1, because Mutetwa's decision to execute such a high-stakes plan wasn't just about avoiding a single testimony. It was about escaping the collapse of an entire corrupt ecosystem that he had helped build and maintain. You have to understand who Richard Maluli truly was. Maluli wasn't just a corrupt cop who stole a few million for cars and houses. He was the ANC's black box. As the head of crime intelligence, he was the keeper of the Smallanyana skeletons. He ran a rogue intelligence service within the state, answerable not to the Constitution, but to his political masters in Luthuli House and the Union buildings. The slush fund wasn't just for his personal enrichment. It was a black budget. It was used to pay for off-the-books surveillance on political opponents, both inside and outside the ANC. It was used to pay informers, to bribe officials, and to fund factional political campaigns. Madluli had the dirt on everyone. Who was sleeping with whom? Which minister was taking kickbacks from which tender? Which judge had a weakness that could be exploited? He was the central nervous system of the Zuma-era deep state. When Muthetwa, as Minister of Police, ordered Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to drop the case against Mdluli, he wasn't just protecting a subordinate. He was protecting the entire system from exposure. He was protecting himself because, as the Zondo Commission later revealed, Muthetwa himself was a direct beneficiary of this slush fund, with security upgrades to his home and luxury vehicles all paid for by this pot of dirty money. His hands were just as filthy as Mdluli's. But more importantly, he was protecting his boss, President Jacob Zuma, and the entire political project that relied on Mdluli's intelligence gathering and dirty tricks to stay in power. Muthetwa's testimony at the Madlanga Commission would have been the thread that, once pulled, would have unraveled everything. He would have had to explain, under oath, who gave him the instruction to protect Mdluli. Was it his own idea? Or did the order come from higher up? His testimony had the potential to lead directly to the office of the former president and expose the rot at the very heart of the state capture project. But here is the crucial twist that the mainstream media is missing. The panic over Muthetwa testimony wasn't just confined to the Zuma-aligned RET faction. The so-called New Dawn faction, led by President Cyril Ramaphosa, was just as terrified, if not more so. Do you really think Mdluli's spying stopped in 2018? Do you think those files on political rivals were all deleted when Zuma left office? Of course not. An intelligence apparatus like that has a powerful instinct for self-preservation. They have files on everyone. They have the dirt on the CR17 campaign financing. They know which of Ramaphosa's allies made dodgy deals to secure his victory at Nasrec. Muthetwa, a man who sat on the ANC National Executive Committee for years, a man who was at the center of the security cluster, knew it all. He was the living, breathing, institutional memory of the party's darkest secrets, spanning multiple administrations. If he was cornered at the Madlanga Commission, facing a long prison sentence, what would he have done? He would have done what any cornered operative does. He would have used his leverage. He would have threatened to burn the whole house down, exposing the sins of both factions in a desperate act of mutually assured destruction. He would have exposed the hypocrisy of the New Dawn, proving that the same rotten system that operated under Zuma was still firmly in place. From this perspective, Nathi Muthetwa's silence was not just beneficial to one faction. It was essential for the survival of the entire African National Congress, as we know it. Both sides needed him gone. Whether that meant in a coffin or on a private jet to a non-extradition country was merely a logistical detail. A faked death is cleaner. It creates a martyr, it shuts down the investigation, and it allows everyone to offer solemn, hypocritical condolences while breathing a massive collective sigh of relief. This wasn't an escape from one man's past. It was a system-wide reset button, pushed in a hotel room in Paris. So, let's establish the board. We have a player, Nathi Muthetwa, who is not a desperate victim, but a cornered operative with a lifetime of experience in intelligence and survival. We have a motive, so powerful that it threatens to bring down the entire political establishment, uniting both the old guard and the new guard in a rare moment of shared, terrified self-interest. They all need him silent. With this established, the idea of a simple suicide becomes a childish fantasy. What we are looking at is a meticulously planned extraction, a ghost protocol activated the moment his name appeared on the Madlanga Commission's witness list. Now, let's go back to the scene of the crime, the Hyatt Regency in Paris, and dissect the how. Let's apply real-world forensic logic to this theatrical production. The operation begins with the check-in. Muthetwa arrives alone, a deliberate move to ensure no loyal security personnel could witness or later question his movements. But how does a man planning to disappear check into a hotel? He doesn't use his personal credit card. That's amateur hour. It leaves a financial trail a mile wide. He would have used cash, or more likely, a sterile, untraceable payment method arranged by his support team. What name did he use? His own? Perhaps. Checking in under his own name adds a layer of authenticity to the suicide. But it's just as likely he used a diplomatic alias, a privilege afforded to him by his position, allowing him to create an official record that could be easily controlled or erased by complicit embassy staff later. The choice of the 22nd floor was also not random. It's about narrative. A fall from the 3rd floor can be survived. A fall from the 22nd floor is final. It's dramatic. It screams finality and removes any ambiguity, which is crucial when you are trying to sell a lie to the world. A real suicide, especially by a political figure of his stature, is almost always accompanied by a note. A letter to the family, a manifesto to the nation, a final attempt to shape his legacy. Where is Muthetwa note? There isn't one, because the man wasn't ending his story. He was starting a new chapter, and you don't write a suicide note at the beginning of a new book. Now let's talk about the so-called weapon of choice, the scissors. This is the most insulting detail of the entire official story. It is a piece of stagecraft so clumsy, it has to be deliberate. The entire purpose of planting the scissors is to sell the idea of a spontaneous, desperate act. A man, so overcome with despair, grabs the first thing he can find, a pair of scissors from the desk or the hotel sewing kit, and in a fit of anguish, pries open his own doom. It's a pathetic and frankly unbelievable image. Let's be practical. Those windows are designed to withstand high winds and prevent exactly this kind of incident. You would need a crowbar and a lot of muscle, which would make a tremendous amount of noise. The idea that he did this with scissors is a fiction designed to be swallowed whole by a public that doesn't ask questions. The cleaners, the team that sanitized the room after he left, would have used proper tools to break the window lock from the inside, and then simply left the absurd prop of the scissors behind to create the false psychological profile of the victim. Let's reconstruct the real timeline, the 12 hours of darkness between his check-in around 4:30 p.m. on September 29th and the discovery at 7 a.m. the next morning. After checking in, he doesn't go to his room and brood. He leaves the hotel. This is when he makes the trip to Bois de Boulogne. He meets his support team. He hands over his official phone, his passport, his wallet, everything that connects him to Nathi Mthethwa. In return, he receives his new identity, a clean passport under a new name, a burner phone, and cash. He is now officially a ghost. He never returns to the hotel. Later that evening, his support team, from a different location, sends the pre-written, worrying message to his wife. This is the trigger. The script is now live. His wife plays her part, consciously or not, and reports him missing to the embassy. The official clock has started ticking. Meanwhile, back at the Hyatt, the second phase of the operation begins. The cleaners enter his room. How? A paid-off hotel employee provides a master keycard, ensuring no electronic record of a forced entry. They are professionals. They wear gloves. They are in and out in under an hour. Their job is twofold. First, extraction. If Mthethwa had indeed returned to the room, their job is to get him out. He would not leave through the lobby. A 5-star hotel is a labyrinth of service corridors, staff elevators, laundry chutes, and underground delivery bays. Dressed in a maintenance uniform or a chef's jacket, he could walk out with a shift change and no one would blink an eye. The missing CCTV footage is not a glitch. It is the proof of this exit strategy. It was either deliberately erased by an inside man or the glitch was created by the team's tech expert to cover their tracks. Second, sanitation and staging. Once Mthethwa is clear, the team prepares the room. They pry open the window, place the scissors, and perhaps scatter a few papers to suggest a troubled state of mind. They wipe the room clean of any DNA that shouldn't be there. The final act is the most gruesome. Sometime in the pre-dawn hours, the team transports the body double to the hotel. Using the same service access, they move it to a position from which it can be dropped or placed into the inner courtyard. It must be done with precision at a time with minimal staff presence, like the hour before the morning shift change. At exactly 7 a.m., the security guard, who is on their payroll, makes his rounds and discovers the body. He makes the call. The scene is immediately locked down by accomplices, and the slow-moving official process, including the tea-break ambulance crew, begins. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a breakdown of a standard intelligence operation. The man we saw in Mkhwanazi's testimony, the man who summoned the National Police Commissioner to his home to give him an illegal order to protect a criminal, is a man who is comfortable with clandestine operations. He is a man who knows how to operate outside the law. To think that such a man would choose a desperate, clumsy suicide over a planned professional escape is to fundamentally misunderstand the person we are dealing with. He is not the victim in this story. He is the architect of his own disappearance. And as he slipped out of that hotel and into the Paris night, the South African state, from the embassy in France to the Union buildings in Pretoria, began the final phase of the operation, the cover-up. So, Nathi Mthethwa, the man, is gone. He has slipped through the elaborate stage door of the Hyatt Regency and vanished into the European night. In his place, a convenient narrative has been left behind, a tragic suicide, a fallen comrade, a story designed to be mourned, not questioned. But now we must turn our attention to the second phase of the operation, which is just as critical as the escape itself, the cover-up. An operation of this magnitude cannot succeed without institutional complicity. It requires a conspiracy of silence, stretching from the morgue in Paris to the Union buildings in Pretoria. And what we have witnessed since September 30th is a masterclass in just that. Let's start with the French authorities. Do not make the mistake of thinking they are incompetent or that they have been fooled. The French intelligence service, the DGSE, is one of the most sophisticated in the world. The idea that a foreign ambassador could orchestrate a fake death in their capital city without them knowing is laughable. They are not incompetent, they are pragmatic. For the French government, this situation presents two choices. Choice A is to launch a full, transparent investigation into the potential assassination or faked death of a foreign diplomat on their soil. This would be a massive diplomatic and security nightmare. It would expose vulnerabilities, strain relations with South Africa, and create months of embarrassing international headlines. Choice B is to quietly accept the official narrative of suicide handed to them by the South African embassy. This allows them to close the file quickly, avoid a diplomatic incident, and maintain the status quo. What do you think they chose? The sealed toxicology reports, the perpetually under investigation CCTV footage, and the quick, unquestioning acceptance of the suicide theory are not signs of a thorough investigation. They are signs of a politically convenient conclusion being rubber-stamped. The nerve center of this cover-up on the ground is the South African embassy in Paris. Mthethwa's former colleagues are not grieving subordinates. They are now the primary custodians of the lie. They are the gatekeepers. They are the ones who control the flow of information to the French police. They are the ones who have custody of the alleged body. They are the ones who are stalling the repatriation process, feeding the family and the South African public a steady diet of excuses about diplomatic protocols and French administrative procedures. Their job is to create a bureaucratic smokescreen, a wall of red tape to delay and deflect any real scrutiny until the trail is ice cold. They control access to the hotel room, the evidence, and the body. They are not working for the South African people. They are working for the same shadowy network that facilitated Mthethwa's escape. And what about Pretoria? The response from the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, DIRCO, and the presidency has been a masterclass in disingenuous, pre-written hypocrisy. We get the same tired phrases trotted out after every political scandal. We are shocked and saddened. Our thoughts are with the family. We trust the authorities will conduct a full investigation. These are not statements of a government demanding answers for the suspicious death of one of its top diplomats. This is the language of complicity. If the South African government truly believed Mthethwa had been assassinated, or if they were genuinely suspicious, you would see a very different response. The Minister of International Relations would be on the first flight to Paris. A high-level team of investigators from the Hawks and Crime Intelligence would have been dispatched within hours. There would be public demands for the CCTV footage for an independent autopsy. Instead, there is nothing. Just a placid, calm acceptance of the initial story. It's the quiet, satisfied posture of a problem that has just been solved. The ANC itself is in a state of controlled panic. Publicly, they perform their ritual of mourning a fallen comrade. But behind the closed doors at Luthuli House, the mood is one of profound relief mixed with raw terror. They are relieved that the Madlanga Commission's biggest threat has been neutralized. Mthethwa, the man who could have linked both the Zuma and Ramaphosa factions to the rot, has been removed from the board. But they are terrified that the plan could unravel, terrified that a journalist somewhere might find a loose thread, terrified that the body double might be exposed through a DNA test, terrified that Mthethwa, from his comfortable hideout, might grow a conscience or get greedy and decide to leak the insurance policy of files and data he undoubtedly took with him. So they close ranks, they sing his praises, and they pray that the public swallows the story. So where is he? While the ANC is laying wreaths and singing struggle songs, where is Nathi Mthethwa sipping his coffee this morning? He is not in a grave. He is in a gilded cage. The most likely destination is Dubai. It is the international capital for politically exposed fugitives, the preferred sanctuary for South Africa's criminal elite, as the Gupta brothers have so elegantly demonstrated. There is no extradition treaty, and as long as you have money, the local authorities will leave you alone. He could be living in a luxury apartment in the marina, invisible amongst the thousands of other wealthy expatriates. Another, more intriguing possibility is Russia. As a former MK operative, Mthethwa has old struggle-era connections to Moscow. For the Russian intelligence services, a former police and intelligence-connected minister from a key BRICS nation is a valuable asset. In exchange for his knowledge of South Africa's state secrets, diplomatic strategies, and intelligence partnerships with Western nations, they would grant him protection and a new life. He is not just hiding, he is waiting. In his possession is his go bag, a collection of encrypted hard drives containing the sum of all the secrets he was meant to protect. This is his leverage. This is his dead man's switch. If the ANC or the South African government ever stop protecting him, or if they ever try to come after him, he can release that information and burn the entire house down from thousands of miles away. He is not a fugitive in the traditional sense. He is a man who has successfully blackmailed an entire country into facilitating his escape. And as he watches the news of his own tragic death, he knows he has won, but the game is not over. The system may have protected itself by removing him, but there are still loose ends. There are still honest cops like Mkhwanazi. There is still a commission of inquiry, and there is still a family that is being lied to. The next phase of the cover-up will be to manage them. Thank you. Please share own views below.